Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do a video today on something that is probably one of the more, I guess, sadder aspects of being a perfume lover slash perfume collector. And that is the inevitability of discontinuation. In particular, it's very painful when you find perfumes that you truly love. And in my case, some of them, I discovered quite late, and these perfumes were discontinued shortly after I'd discovered them or bought bottles of them. So I thought I would talk about a few of my very favorite perfumes that appear to be, in some cases confirmed, in other cases not entirely sure, discontinued. So I will start off with probably the one that that's probably gonna cause me the least amount of sadness and grief when I've finished my bottle. And this one was actually out for not very long before it was discontinued. And I'm talking about, that's very bright there. I'm talking about Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal Cologne. So this was one of several flankers that kind of came out in a short space of time after the original Idéal EDT came out. And I tried the original EDT. I also, for a very short time, owned the Eau de Parfum version. And then I kind of bought this on a whim because all of a sudden in our discount outlets here in Australia, in pharmacies in particular, big chain pharmacies, this was suddenly very discounted. I think I paid 20 Australian dollars for this 50ml bottle. And I really, really enjoy wearing this. And so it was actually a blind buy for me. And I figured at $20, it couldn't have been too much of a risk. But what happened was I decided that I would take a decant of this on my trip to Italy a few years ago. And that kind of became, this perfume became a bit of a scent memory for me for that time. It was like lovely warm weather. I wore it several times. Look, it's not the greatest perfume. It's not the greatest perfume out there, but it's really well made for what it is. And in my opinion, it's the best flanker that came out from this line. So it's sort of baffling to me why they discontinued this one. And I can only assume that it wasn't selling very well. So you might still be able to find this wherever you are on discounters, but like just before I started filming this video, I had a look around and it seems to be out of stock at most online retailers that I looked at anyway. So that's Cologne Idéal Cologne from Guerlain. I'll stick with the house of Guerlain. This is, I think, a more recent discontinuation announcement. And I only had a quick look. I can't see it on Guerlain's website anymore. And I'm talking about Derby from the Les Parisiens line that come in this beautiful wood frame bottle. The original Derby was released back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, 85. This version was 2005. I haven't smelled the one before this. Presumably it got reformulated, but this is the Derby that I fell in love with anyway. I was lucky enough to acquire a partial bottle, so it wasn't me that put a dent in this bottle, but I really, really enjoy it. It's classic carnation leather chypre. It's just a real quintessential good smelling man. And oh, that's awesome. And it gets better every time I smell it. And I'm sad because it's been discontinued and I don't actually have that much left. Although what gives me hope is that Guerlain do seem to be in the habit of repackaging older releases. Whether they reformulate the juice is one thing, but it would not surprise me in the least that in a couple of years or a few years' time we'll see Derby again in a different looking bottle. Hopefully, fingers crossed. The next one that's also quite recently been discontinued. It's no longer showing on Caron's official website, unless I've searched really poorly, but I can't even see, I can't see a couple of them. So the one that I'm talking about is Caron's Third Man, Le Troisième Homme. This doesn't appear to be on there anymore, along with Yataghan, which is another very popular classic from the 70s. This is my biggest Caron love. It's the one that I've ended up with after I've decluttered my other Carons. Again, beautiful citrus, spicy, woody fragrance, lots of clove, gorgeous lemon juice, lemon opening in the top notes, and it gets very mossy in the base. But it's just so for something, you know. This came out in the mid '80s as well, and this is a newer bottle, and the juice is like, I can't even imagine if this has been reformulated. I can't even imagine how much the old juice could have been better than this, because it's such good perfume. Gorgeous aromatic lavender in there as well. So it's a shame that this appears to be discontinued as well. And again, I think it is always going to come down to sales. And I can totally understand why brands would do this. Like if something's not selling, and look, perfumes like The Third Man, and maybe even Derby from Guerlain, they are very popular with frag heads, perfume aficionados, you know, real enthusiasts that get into this hobby quite deep. But when it comes to sales to mass market consumers, I can understand why they wouldn't have sold very well. And I think this is the case with the next perfume as well. And I'm talking about Absolu pour le Soir by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Look, I've spoken about this so many times on my channel. It's a perennial top 5 fragrance for me. It's one of the only like animalic honey perfumes. Sorry, I just got distracted. That I just love. It's really unique to me. I know I've asked on social media a number of times, what would you recommend as a replacement for this when I finally get rid of this last bit of juice? I haven't smelled anything quite like it. And what's a little bit well, I mean, it's not disappointing. Again, it comes back to business, whether it's sold or not. I can definitely understand why this wasn't a big seller as well. It can be quite challenging wear for a novice perfume wearer, perfume user. It's certainly not something I would describe as crowd pleasing or even office friendly, but I just kind of wish that they would keep perfumes like this in some form, or even just make it available in smaller batches like this. And you know, like there are some perfumes I'd be prepared to pay extra for just to keep them on the shelves to reason, but it's very sad, and I'm going to be very sad when Absolu pour le Soir is finished. And the final one that has been discontinued, which is a love for me, is from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. I think they've discontinued a few sort of iconic fragrances recently. This one is Sevilla Lob. Again, it's a similar story to the Guerlain Cologne Ideal. I took this on my trip, and again, this has sent memories of my trip to Italy as well. Orange blossom, beeswax, lavender. It's certainly a real vibe. And look, this is I can understand why I created a scent memory with this one, because this is actually inspired by a scent memory. This was composed by Bertrand Duchefort for L'Artisan, and it was inspired by a blog post by perfume writer Denise Beaulieu, I think. Yes, I think that's right. As the inspiration for this perfume was a night in Seville, very strong memory, and this was the result of it. And for a while, it was on the market for a while, but and I know of other fans of this perfume as well. And again, I don't know if I've smelt anything quite in the ballpark of this perfume, but it's sad because it's been discontinued. And again, I think it really honestly comes down to brands keeping big sellers. Like I don't see Baccarat Rouge being discontinued anytime soon. Certainly don't see Aventus or Dior Sauvage being discontinued anytime soon. But having said all that, and given that I have so many perfumes relative to the average person, probably not, I've got a small collection compared to a lot of you guys and a lot of other YouTube reviewers and bloggers and influencers, but I still have enough perfume at my age probably to last the rest of my life without needing to buy any new bottles. I'm just going to be sad when these ones are gone, and I'll miss them, but I know that there are thousands and thousands of other perfumes out there that I have not even tried, and I guess the excitement, if I want to be optimistic about things, the exciting part for me is going to be testing stuff and finding new loves to replace these old, long gone loves. Luckily, a few of these I've got many years left because a couple of them are full bottles, but in particular the Derby and the Absolut pour le soir, I'm getting a bit anxious about the end days coming. So I would really love to read in the comments about perfumes you love that you still have, but have been discontinued, and that make you sad about that, and I look forward to seeing what you write, and thank you for watching and listening to me talk about this stuff. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.